back to the first morning ride for the year 2026. This is Monday's edition of Morning Ride on Delta Television. It is time now for us to look at our national dailies and analyze some of the headlines. Joining us in the studio is Comrade
It's a pleasure.
Well,
I'm happy to be here to each and every one of us.
Yes, happy new year to you. All right, quickly we'll just look at the papers. Time is not our friend today, so let us breeze through the papers this morning. I will start with the first daily newspaper. The first daily newspaper says, Tinubu unleashes security agencies after Niger bandit massacre. All right, at the top strip we have Gumi claims he was marked for bombing during U.S. airstrike. All right, let's just look at those two headlines.
Gumi is just too small for America to be aiming at.
Yes.
They will just include him among the rest.
Well, the major one talks about the massacre, the bandit massacre, New Year bloodshed in Niger State. 42 were killed in deadly terror attacks.
Yeah.
We're starting the new year with such reports.
You know, throughout year 2025, it has been insecurity upon insecurity. Not until the police of the world, talking about the #1 president of the world, Donald Trump, just tweeted about Nigeria being a country of particular concern. That was when we rose to the occasion and started thinking about what we could do to avoid being blacklisted. But when you talk about insecurity, I know it has been a recurring decimal. Thank God that the Christmas, New Year celebrations in Nigeria were a little bit peaceful, in the sense that people went to their worship centers and they had peace. If not for the intervention of the world police talking about America invasion of the hideout of the miscreants and insurgents, that was what really brought the situation under control. As if that the wave of such action was just dying down before they now try to raise their ugly head up again to say, let's let them know that we are still breathing. But we still want that international collaboration to continue. And on the part of our security apparatus, I think we should re-strategize, more so when we are in the new year. And we are going to operate from the newly approved 2026 budget. So whatever has to do with insecurity, it should be a source of concern to each and every one of us. Whatever we can do towards assisting security agencies with useful information that could help to nip all of this in the bud, it will help us a lot. Because when you talk about development, no development, positive development can thrive when insecurity is at the center. So Mr. President should rise to the occasion. I know that he has given a marching order to the security agencies to up their game, especially this year. More so when we know that this is a year where electionary campaigns will kick off and there will be a lot of activities. International community is always looking at us. With what has happened in Venezuela, I think it is a warning to other presidents that if you are turning your country into a country of a particular concern, the world police can come and whisk you away.
Okay, now let's talk about Gumi. Now, I don't know who to blame. If to blame the federal government for not putting him in check, or to blame the media for giving him so much attention.
Oh dear.
But Gumi has been
The recurring decimal.
yeah, recurring decimal, if you call it that. He's been making some statements since last year.
Yeah.
Ever since the U.S. Came up and said we will give you the tag of a country of particular concern. Gumi has been talking. Now he's saying that he was marked for bombing during the U.S. airstrike. I don't know how he
to
got
me,
to
I
that.
think he's biting more than he could chew. Because if he's talking to Mr. Donald Trump, I think he doesn't know what he's saying as far as that is concerned. Talking about Gumi, we know that he has been in the news for the negative reasons all this while. But somebody like him should be brought to book. He should be brought to question. He should even be incarcerated, as it were, because all of his actions are questionable. And all of them, it's as if he's in his own world, a situation where he could just wake up and advise or coerce the federal government that you must do this. Why must America come and start bombing the hideout of insurgents and all of that? That when you talk about, when you tag some of these terrorists as people who do not mean well for the nation. Invariably, you are saying that all Muslims do not mean well. So most of his utterances are utterances that is enough to land him in court, land him in jail, and so many other things. And somebody of his type should be dealt with decisively, because when you treat the issue with a wave of the hand, today now we know how Nnamdi Kanu was whisked away, repatriated from another country and brought into Nigeria to answer to some of the allegations leveled against him and some of his statements. Somebody like Gumi should be treated that way too, because an injury to one should be an injury to all. And whatever he has been saying is not in the best interest of our dear nation. And somebody who do not mean well for our dear nation should also be dealt with accordingly, according to law, and so that it will act as a deterrent to others, so that some persons will not wake up tomorrow and say, Gumi did this for so many years and nobody interrogated him, nobody brought him to book. So Gumi should be dealt with accordingly. But I know that if he dares talk more than what he has been saying about America, we will be surprised that one day we will look for Gumi and we will not see him. America is the police of the world.
Might truly happen.
And America has a way of doing it. You can be in the marketplace, they single you out with a drone and you are gone.
Or why men sleep?
or maybe what happened to Venezuelan president? I don't even think the US would even want to go through.
No, they wouldn't. No, it's only they can pay somebody in Nigeria to do it for them.
All right, let's move on to the Daily Trust newspaper. And first, the screaming headline here says NAS disowns gazetted tax law. And our second story, ADC tickets Obi Kwankwaso to battle Atiku.
You know, for quite a long while, we've been talking about the issue of a strong opposition. Before now, we used to see PDP as a formidable opposition until the virus, the cancer that ate up the party in the person of Wike, who, of all that he has been saying and all that he did prior to 2023 presidential election, none of them could invoke the full weight of the PDP law on him, and he had his way. For somebody to be a card-carrying member of your party and was talking on national television, campaigning for an opposition party, and eventually they won. None of them saw him as somebody who could do what he has succeeded in doing now. He is not done with the party because his core goal was to ensure that no candidate emerged from the PDP, and it's already happening. Anambra, for instance, it happened. So, when you now want to go into opposition, ADC, for instance, I think the forces there, the people there, they are capable of springing up surprises, politically speaking. But one virus that is eating them up now is that everybody wants to run. You know that politicians are always running. Nobody is pursuing them, and we don't know who is pursuing them. If you want to wrestle power from the power at the center, you must kill your personal ego, you must kill your personal ambition, and allow the collective wish of the people to thrive. Because we know that prior to the 2023 general election, people didn't see Mr. Peter Obi as somebody who could, through the Labour Party, do all that he did. And he has been able to defer to your camp now. What they are supposed to do now is to go and beg Atiku. Atiku, you have been running. Please allow another person to run. Throw your weight behind the next person, so that what we are looking for is how we can clinch the power. When you are done with clinching the power, it is then and then that you can now think about, okay, as soon as this person is about exiting, who now comes in? With that, you can come out and say, okay, you know, I fought and it was through my plans, my investment, and so many other things that we are now on board. Just as the incumbent president did. When he saw that PDP was becoming a hard nut to crack, what he did was to kill his personal ego, kill his ambition, and throw up somebody who was acceptable in the north, while they battled from the south again. That was how they were able to wrestle power from the PDP. So ADC, if they want to move ahead, because they now appear to be the new bride in town, considering the caliber of persons who are there. But the only challenge I envisage is the fact that 99% of them want to be Mr. President come 2027, which will not be practically possible. And the only way the party can have a smooth ride is for them to say, okay, let's look for a formidable person, somebody who is accepted in the north accepted in the West, accepted in the six geopolitical zones of the country, and throw up the person and look for a running mate for such a person so that they can be able to battle with the APC that is at the center.
We are in for an interesting time this year, 2026 to 2027.
But we don't hope and pray that of all the budgetary provisions we have made, let it not end with politics.
Yes.
Let's also urge our leaders, governors, Mr. President, council chairman, and all of that. They should also think about the collective wish of the people, which is about bringing the dividends of democracy to the people.
All right, talking about dividends of democracy to the people, let's talk about the economy. Daily Independent newspaper has as major headline, Nigeria's hurdle is converting hot money to real growth, says experts. But that's not the headline I want us to focus on.
Yeah.
At the bottom strip, we have aviation. Operators warn new tax laws may hike fares, undermine safety. Then if you look at the Blueprint newspaper, there's a headline at the top strip that says, poor Nigerians will benefit from the new tax regime, says Adedeji. So let's just marry these both headlines. Aviation operators, owners of airlines, they're saying, they're warning that the new tax laws will hike fares and undermine safety. Meanwhile, from the federal government, spokespersons have come out to say that poor people, poor Nigerians will benefit from the new tax regime.
You know, most times we are good at floating policies, but we don't go further in ensuring that the policies work to the best interest of the people. The new tax law now that we are in a new tax regime, how much of orientation has been done by the National Orientation Agency? When you want to float a policy, people should be carried along. Nobody, especially the unlettered ones, can now tell you that this is how I'm going to benefit from this policy. I still want the federal government to go to the drawing board and ensure that people are educated on what they stand to gain from this new tax regime. Before you even float any tax law, there are things that must be on ground. One, there must be constant power supply. We must have good roads. The economy must be buoyant. The number of unemployed youths should reduce, because when you want to bring more persons into the tax net, dividends of democracy may have trickled down to the grassroots. A situation whereby you are telling an investor that if you come to Nigeria to invest now, of all the gain that you end up making, the tax in place now might even take over 20%. Why would the person come this way? And Mr. President has been traveling from one part of the country, one part of the world to another, trying to woo investors to come into Nigeria and do business. To me, I still feel that with all the allegations around the new tax regime, there is need for them to go to the drawing board. Let them rework it, because before now we heard that it was doctored in a way such that the one already approved by the National Assembly, there were certain things that were infused into the new tax law. All of those gray areas should be addressed, and see how we can make the business climate friendly for investors, because nobody will come and do business in a place where your dividends will not take you home. If it will take you to only the car park and they can't drive you home, it's as good as not investing. Right. So people need to be given proper orientation on the new tax law, because if we are carried along, if I'm not caught on the street as a journalist, I can probably
explain it properly.
I can be able to educate the people that this is what you stand to gain. This is, but something that is extruded in secrecy today, it might be implemented tomorrow. Not until Mr. President woke up and say, "Come January 1st, it takes effect." We are in democracy. The collective wish of the people and the interest of the people should come first before your personal goal.
Okay, let's look at the first daily newspaper on insecurity. This one says Tinubu unleashes security agencies after Niger bandit massacre. And let's go to Plateau bleeds again as bandits kill 7 in community attack. Now, it's so sad, because I was thinking after the airstrike, there should have been some scare in the air.
Some respite.
Yes.
See,
What's happening?
the issue is the fact that when America came and they were able to target the hideout of some of these the insurgents, so many persons, even some part of the country, went to the streets to protest. Why will America, amidst all odds, come into the country without the input of Nigerians? These people should be in the know. Why? So now, is it not obvious that if you look at most of the bombings, you see that if they go to a Muslim community, they can kill like two. But when it has to do with a Christian community, they kill in hundreds. So when you say about Christian genocide, some persons were saying nothing like that existed. Even some big men of God were out there from the north trying to defend what they don't know. The point is obvious here. It's obvious that the attack is perpetrated towards more on Christians. So they are trying to reduce them in numbers because most of these communities you hear they attack in the north. That is the stronghold of Christianity. It shouldn't be. If America came here and they were able to give us the little help they have rendered so far, we should be able to tell them to do more. Because I think our military men, our troops, they are doing their best, but their best is not still enough compared to what is happening. Nigerians should be able to. I should be able to travel from Asaba as far as to Sokoto, from Sokoto to Maiduguri and other parts of the northern part of the country. Are you talking of the eastern part of the country? So all of this, it should be holistic. A situation whereby how it used to be in yesteryears, where you can travel and if your car develops fault, irrespective of the position on the road, you can afford to say, let me pass the night here. But here we are, if you are traveling on some route and your car develops fault, you can even abandon your vehicle and start running for safety. So we have gotten to that level, and I want a situation where this 2026 we hear less of bandits and hear more of safety, that you can now sleep with your two eyes closed. Not a situation, when you hear about the way people die these days, it's as if it is a rabbit that is being killed and nobody feel anything about it. The highest the government can do, or some of our so-called leaders do, is they say they will track them down. They will first of all commiserate. What are you commiserating with? If somebody kills if one person in America, if one person dies, American government will go after whoever is behind such. Yes. And let it be like that in Nigeria.
All right, so I think at this point we'll let you go. Thank you so much, Comrade Ejiro Oduwebe, for joining us today on the newspaper analysis. All right, that's all we can take. Make sure you get copies of these newspapers and read up the stories for yourself. We'll go on a break and